Yeah, the first thing is really just making sure that the gift statement itself is crafted correctly. Your immigration attorney should be able to give some general advice, but it's not a bad idea to have a wills, trust, and estates attorney or an attorney who specializes in these types of contracts to look everything over and make sure that this is indeed a gift, right? You want to make sure that the gift statement kind of lays out that this is gifted outright with no expectation of repayment, there's no conditions attached, and that is being made to the correct person, right? You want to make sure the gift is coming to the investor or their spouse who will be making the EB5 investment. And believe it or not, as simple and as straightforward as it seems, I mean, it's literally a one-page document in most cases. I've seen a lot of instances where people have messed up the gift statement, and that has led to a lot of problems or very difficult RFE at the EB5 level. So make sure that that's being done. Again, if this is coming from overseas, you want to make sure that it's being translated correctly. Gifts have their own tax kind of implications in every country, right? And one of the key ways that people can get tripped up with gifts or inheritances is not realizing sometimes that there are taxes to be paid. So something as it may seem as innocent as, oh, my best friend is just giving me $50,000 as a gift. You know, he really wants me to move to the United States, and he's just giving this to me out of the goodness of his heart. Well, that's great, but there's taxes that are involved with gifting anyone that amount of money in the United States. So you want to make sure that you talk to an accountant. You want to make sure if you're in a foreign country that you're talking to a credible tax professional in that country, that the person who's gifting you these funds or the funds that you are now inheriting are free from any further tax liability, or if there is tax liability, that that has also been taken care of and you're maintaining that proof to show to USCIS. I think that the inheritance and gift taxes are ones that are the most commonly overlooked. People do usually end up paying their personal and corporate taxes, but for some reason, when it comes to estates, gifts, inheritances, there's a lot of people that just end up forgetting that, oh yeah, someone just gifted me this money, I have to pay the man. So you really want to be sure that any gifts that are taxable, that you've met your tax liability. We've definitely seen instances where someone has received a gift, USCIS has accepted the application, then 2 years later gotten down to adjudicating, and at that point they've asked for proof that tax liability that was going to be administered against that gift was actually met. So they're going to ask for proof that you actually did pay the tax on that gift, even though it's a couple of years down the line. And again, we come down to tracing. This is always going to be a key point, right? You just want to make sure that there's no break, right? So you've gone through the hassle of going through the source of funds for the giftor and making sure that you've shown this is where all the gift money is coming from. You don't want to have any breaks from when they transfer that money to you as the investor, right? Maybe they say, hey, you know what? I've got somebody who, really needs this money really quickly, or let's just do even easier. Let's say like they say, oh, you're not going to need this money for another month. I'm just going to put this into a fixed deposit, and then the fixed deposit pays back, and now they gift it to you. Seems pretty harmless, right? But if USCIS notes that there was that transaction that occurred and it wasn't documented, that there was that break, and they don't see that fixed deposit account, that could lead to a pretty nasty RFE and possibly even a denial because you've now broken the path of funds. So really, really important to make sure that everything is documented, no matter how minor it may seem at the time. Any kind of break starts ringing off the alarm bells at USCIS, and you want to avoid that at any cost.